What's up, everyone? Andre here, back once again with Xander, my partner in crime when it comes to Paper Mario these days, it seems. Xander, how are you doing?
It's great to be here. I feel like I live here
I know,
now.
right? We've had like 3 discussions on this game, counting this one. Maybe 4 to count the Q&A, I think? I don't know, I've lost track. We've been talking about this game non-stop. Anyways, we've already had a in-depth review discussion about this game, but there were still a few parts about we couldn't discuss for spoiler reasons, both because of the embargo and also because we didn't want to spoil them for people who hadn't played the game yet. So if you don't want spoilers, tune out now. Otherwise, we're going to spoil everything that we can in it. Xander, I have to ask you, how shocked were you when Bobby literally just kills himself in order to save Olivia? I'm like, what?
I dropped my controller.
Did you actually?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I legitimately dropped my controller. I was so and it wasn't even when it happened. It was when I realized it was going to happen.
Right.
Because when this game was coming out, people quickly noticed that he was missing a fuse, and I'm not saying that immediately gave it away by any means, because it definitely didn't. It was like a small detail of his his character design, but as I was playing through it, I was wondering, I'm like, when are we going to get that back? And also, he had mentioned he had amnesia, so I was like, oh, maybe if he gets his fuse back because it's on his head. I know he's just a circle, but you know what I mean. Maybe that'll give him his memories back. But once he mentioned that he had to get something from the cruise ship, and we got that back, I was starting to slowly think oh, maybe he's gonna pull an Admiral Bobbery from the Thousand Year Door, just be able to blow up the boulder and they can keep going. I didn't know that was actually gonna kill him. Yeah, which was just crazy.
Straight up takes him out, and he apparently knew this too. Which is, I mean, on the one hand, I guess I'm glad. On the other hand, it's like, dang, you just met Olivia an hour ago, dude, and you're already sacrificing yourself.
Right, that's some serious commitment for someone who has not been with these people very long.
Yeah, right. He couldn't even remember much about even himself up until just a few minutes before this happens. He had just regained his memories. He's already throwing it all away. So I literally yelled, "Holy shit!" when that happened. I wrote that down in my notes too. I quoted, I'm like, "Yeah, holy shit! I did not see that coming." And then this throws Olivia into a depressive state, in which she just doesn't want to do anything, and she's just sitting in a dark room, just in
a cave.
Yeah, in a cave, right? Just
she's basically weeping.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to go figure out some way to help cheer her up. Which I enjoy. I thought it was actually a pretty clever thing, referencing.
That was a very well done moment when you figure out how you're supposed to help her. That was very well done.
Yeah, I guess we could just say it. Where you wear the Goomba hat, and the
Goomba hat. Did you experiment with the other two?
I did, and I almost felt a little bit bad, but she was very unresponsive to it.
Yes, I likewise.
And the one thing too that's interesting is, right before this, I think before you cheer her up, Mario actually encounters Bobby again in ghost form. This confirms, I thought there was still a chance he was going to come back, but this confirms he doesn't, except besides in ghost form. And he basically straight up tells Mario hey, tell Olivia to not worry about it, I forget exactly what he says, but you have to make sure she can go on. And I'm like, how about I just bring her out here and you tell her, dude?
Right, yeah, no kidding.
Olivia still,
that would have been a nice bit of closure for her.
Right? The fact that, he's dead, but he still kind of exists in this, Jedi spirit form thing. And
yeah, I mean, they've done ghosts before in Paper Mario, but clearly the whole blowing up a bomb thing is out the window at this point. Exactly. So I don't know.
But I actually felt for Olivia in this moment, and Bobby too. I'm like, man, this is dark.
I didn't cry by any means, and I wasn't teary-eyed, but what is it? I was misty-eyed, maybe. I definitely felt something, so I was just like, this is actually happening. And maybe I've gone soft, but when I was younger, I'd probably be like, okay, cool, let's keep going. Exactly. I guess I wouldn't really care as much, because honestly, you don't spend that much time with Bobby. It is kind of the one chapter, plus the time on the cruise ship. But yeah, I don't know, I was just thinking holy cow, you have not known these people very long at all. You had amnesia, you lost all of your friends during the fight on the cruise ship, and now you're just willing to do this. Yeah. It was a moment, man. I was just shocked. It was shocking. To see this.
Yeah, it was I was legit shook by this, especially given the fact that I didn't see it coming at all, because we've seen the bombs blow up before in Paper Mario games, and they've been fine. It doesn't take them out. So I don't know what changed, but yeah, it was a one-hit.
Is it like a bumblebee where it's like sometimes it can sting you and it hurts, but like there's the one sting that can finally end the bee's life as like a sacrificial. I don't know. I'm not gonna look too deep.
Yeah, no, I mean exactly. I mean, so it's weird. Like on the one hand, like I enjoyed it. Or I mean, enjoyed's not the right word. I guess I appreciate it. Like I'm like, wow, I didn't expect Nintendo to go that dark. But on the other hand, did Olivia deserve this? Did she deserve... I mean, did this need to happen? Did we have to have a character sacrifice himself to...
It felt unearned a little bit, just because you don't spend that much time with Bobby. I feel like they literally kind of pull back the curtain moments before this happens, when he kind of tells you what happens. And then afterwards, you meet the Monty Moles in the cave, and they're all cracking jokes. And I was just like, no. You can't start going back into the funny Paper Mario humor right after that moment. We need a moment here.
That's why I think they really... I think would have made it work better, as I said already, had Olivia been able to meet Bobby as well in spirit form. I think that actually would have kind of like glossed over the remaining issues. Because she still thinks he's dead.
They never had closure. It was crazy. In fact, there's a moment later on where they're at Bowser's castle, and she sees another bob-omb, and she's like, "Bobby, oh my gosh, you're back!" And he's like, "I don't know who you are."
That's right. That's so sad.
Right, yeah.
That's so sad.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So I will say though, like, you know, despite, you know, possible gripes of how they handled it, like I actually did again overall appreciate it and was surprised they went there.
And then, do we want to keep talking about Bobby, or do we want to jump ahead?
Oh, yeah, let's go where you want to go. So if you want to jump ahead, that's fine.
Okay. All right. I'm going to steer this ship over to the Origami Craftsman.
Okay, so real quick, so we're talking even later game spoilers. So once again, if you want out, you should bail now, but continue.
Yeah, this is particularly more important to the plot line, I think. I didn't know this character had an actual name until I looked at the fact sheet, but his name is Theofold, which is all right. Well done. You basically go to this island called, I think, Mushroom Island, and there's an abandoned house, and eventually you are able to go inside, and Olivia just kind of suddenly drops the bomb that this is where she was born. I don't know why she didn't recognize it when you were on the exterior of the house, but it's once you're inside, that's when she drops that on you, and they drop how origami are made and who makes them and how Olivia and Ollie came to be. And when they were kind of talking about that, I was like, oh, so we're going to meet the Origami Craftsman. And then I had this sudden sinking feeling where I was like, please don't be a toad. Please don't be a toad. Please don't be a toad. Yeah, and sure enough, it's a toad in an apron. But that was nice. Kind of like at least getting... I'm not looking for deep lore in my Paper Mario games, but it was appreciated, I guess, that they added like a little bit of context to these characters. Which does tie into the end game for sure.
Right, and because it's when we visit the craftsman that we find out that he had planned for King Ollie to be the king of his like little diorama section thing, right? Like he made like a little...
He had like a little origami thing.
Right, yeah, exactly. So one thing that confused me a little bit is that, King Ollie and Olivia are brother and sister, they're siblings, but King Ollie was the one who folded Olivia. So I'm like, doesn't that make him more of a parent than...
Yeah, doesn't that make him the dad? Yeah. And then also, why is she the queen? Isn't that what? Weird relationship going on there.
Yeah, things work a little bit differently in the origami version of the Mushroom Kingdom, I guess. Now, what else do we...
Everyone's paper.
Now, do we find... I forget. What else do we find out there?
You do kind of see the desk, and then if you're really looking, I think that the office supplies bosses are all sitting on the desk, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is that like the stationery? Legion of Stationery? Oh, that's awesome.
The Legion of Stationery.
That's great. I didn't catch that.
There,
that's really clever.
But that's very small moment, but like that does end. This is more like of a setup for the end game.
Right. Yeah. So I guess let's go ahead and skip ahead then to. There isn't like a whole lot of plot that happens in this game.
We're trying to milk it, but there really isn't a whole lot.
But before we bring it to the actual ending where we find out more about this, or I guess in the lead up to the final boss, I suppose. I just want to talk about the final segment of the game. I think I started enjoying the game, as I said before, after the final developmental, but I would say really like...
Bowser's Castle when the game Castle. Really...
Exactly.
Yep.
That's where everything starts like really coming together. I loved everything from that point on. And I was like really surprised when you is it after you unfold Bowser that you encounter the weird, creepy humanoid? Like, you have the hand that grabs you, and then you encounter the weird, creepy humanoid things that come out of the paintings, I think, or...
No, Bowser isn't folded.
Okay.
Bowser's still folded because he's, like, being held prisoner by the scissors.
Oh, that's
but
it.
Yeah, you're going to go to Kamek's office or whatever to get the key to the room. I don't remember. And suddenly this, like, giant hand shadow thing comes out of the ceiling. And that... I didn't jump, but that was a moment where I was like, whoa, what's going on? That was weird.
Yeah, it was just, like, it was creepy and unnerving. I love that. I love whenever Paper Mario, like, explores things of that nature. And in fact, there's a couple of things in this chapter like that. Like, all those, the creepy hand, the creepy human characters, and how they can unfold from each other and form like a ring around you, which is really creepy.
That was neat, though. That was well done. Even though the puzzles were pretty easy, I was kind of like, this is creepy.
No, I love that too. Yeah, like how it tied into the gameplay and how you had to re-ravel them yourself or unravel them. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. I really enjoyed all of that, and just it really led like an unsettling feeling into the lead up to the final. And then in the following room or the following section, you face off again. Actually, that's more than I thought. You face off against a papier-mâché character that's made entirely of other characters' faces, and I love that too. Like, there's some weird like body horror stuff going on in this game. They touched on it a little bit earlier with the Toads missing their faces, but they go all in here. This papier-mâché creature made entirely of faces, and then the faces are talking to you too, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I love this. It was so weird, and it's like for me, it's a fine line between like digging it or just being turned off completely, depending on like what they do. But it works in Paper Mario's universe. Like, had this been like a real life thing, had it done this with like in the actual Mario universe, I would have hated it. I would be like, no, that's gross.
Oh yeah, that would have been weird.
Disturbing. But it actually kind of works in this Paper universe, so still being like a little bit creepy and weird and disturbing all its own. And yeah, I thought that was fun. Oh, and then eventually, I don't know if we want to skip ahead this far, but it's kind of related. Eventually, we see Peach.
That definitely was creepy.
Yeah, like spread up on the wall, like, I don't know how I want to put this.
She's like a stained glass window, kind of.
And you know what it reminded me of? Oh, this is going to be really creepy now. It reminded me of, have you seen Midsummer at all?
Yes.
Yes, do you know what I'm talking about? Where the guy's like strung up? That's what it reminded me of. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, but again, Paper Mario can like ride this weird body horror line that's disturbing but works at the same time. And is completely off-putting somehow.
Her being in the like the window, like being unfolded and being like merged with the building, and then also the I think it's called the Anaconda, the boss, the big snake. That reminded me of the feeling I was feeling when I first saw the trailer for the game and how creepy it felt. I was like, wow, this is the payoff for that for sure.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. It kind of ties back to the beginning of the game where we first meet Peach and how creepy that whole introduction is. Whereas the rest of the game is definitely more happy-go-lucky by and large.
Yes.
So real quick, I want to touch on the Scissor Battle. I love the Scissor Battle.
That was good. That's my first time playing it. I broke the sheet.
I did too.
Like right away. Yep.
They warned me.
And I got pretty far actually.
Oh really?
But, yeah. What killed me was I jumped on top of the scissors.
And that's what I did too.
Same thing, and it killed me.
I do love though that offers you the opportunity to dodge his attacks, but if you miss, then it's game over for you. And that's actually pretty good practice for leading up to the final battle. Like, it's kind of like a quick time event practice, really. But yeah, scissors are great. I love that there are multiple ways of beating it. I love the personality. I loved its animation, how it would kind of like roll back and forth on its sharp edge. Just really cool stuff. And I liked how you had to change your tactics depending on whether what end it was on. Including in a real-time capacity when you actually get up to it. Yeah, perfect battle, great stuff. Really kind of like justifies the whole like battle ring system they designed in this game. And also real quick, when you do get killed by it, I love how it goes to the black and not black and white, like the red and black visual style.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called, but like I've seen that like in Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you you get killed and everything goes black, but there's a red sky?
And again, Mario gets sliced in half, by the way. Like again, this would be horribly violent in any other setting.
We have not seen that since Ridley speared him when Ridley was announced for Smash Brothers.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, actually, I think they even use a similar aesthetic there too, with a red and black thing. So yeah, great stuff there. And then, so what happens after this again? We free Bowser.
We get on the new Doom ship, the airship, and we take out a bunch of paper airplanes.
You do that whole cannon sequence, which
like I think you technically lose that fight, and you never actually find out what happens to like the bigger, the commanding ship of the fleet. It just kind of rams into Bowser's ship, and that's that.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
I don't know, maybe Origami King 2.
Exactly. Yeah, I did like the whole paper airplane sequence. I actually wish it had been a little bit more difficult, but I had no trouble keeping up with the incoming.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, but I thought
there's no way to replay that I can find. I'm almost done 100%ing it, and there's no like way to refight that.
Oh,
so
that's too bad. Yeah, that actually was enjoyable. But then, so it's after this crash, then you end up in like a volcano or something, or like a lava.
Yeah, it's like the volcano underneath Peach's castle.
I loved this too. I loved how, as you're you're trying to climb your way up, but you discover that you're being chased by a bunch of like paper mache Goombas, like in this like horde type thing, and it's basically like a Metroid escape sequence here. And what I really love too is how you have Bowser Jr. with you during this time, as I recall, and Bowser, who is he unfolded now again, or is he?
Yes, he is.
He's unfolded. He's like, is he like giving like words of encouragement to Bowser Jr. or something? Or
he's like being a parent. Yeah. He's like, "Go get him, son."
I love that. I love seeing that dynamic. Like, I've never been that big of a fan of Bowser Jr., but I really liked what they did here. Although there was,
for some reason, when they add Bowser like as a parent in the context of Bowser Jr., which is, I know, funny to say that, but like Nintendo doesn't do it as much as you'd think. It somehow makes them both really funny and very enjoyable.
It does, yeah.
Just learning about Bowser's parenting philosophies in this game was great.
Yeah, it really is.
Sometimes you just gotta let him do it.
I forget if it's at this part or it's elsewhere, but there's one part where Bowser Jr., one of them says that they don't like baths or they haven't taken a bath. I'm like, that's a straight up lie. That's where you and Bowser got your start in gaming.
Yeah, there's no reference to that, isn't? You'd think there would be.
Yeah, you'd think there would be.
Bowser Jr.'s origin is literally a bathtub.
Are we getting to the point where the localization team is too young to play Mario Sunshine?
Oh gosh.
I hope not.
Yeah, we.
But I kind of treat these games as their own universe, so sure, whatever. The Paper Mario games. Okay, so what happens after? Does anything else happen during this sequence, or?
We lose Kamek and Bowser Jr. to this horde, and then we are shot up in a cannon.
Oh, that's right. Doesn't Bowser Jr. offer to stay behind to fight them off?
Yeah. Okay. They kind of like they play it as like a sacrificial thing, like go on without me, I'll be fine, and then you never see them again. And you're like, did they make it?
Oh, maybe he pulled a Bobby, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, sure, they're gonna kill off Bowser Jr. Right? Okay. But yeah, then after that, we're end up at Peach's castle,
and that's where that's where we now climb the staircase into the actual like the origami version of Peach's castle, right?
Well, you get there, and then Luigi, thank goodness, finally has the key, and you go inside.
Oh, that's right.
I don't really remember like what happens. You go inside, and then I don't know, you just meet Ollie or something, and he's like, I'm gonna make the origami castle, and he makes an origami castle, and then that's when the origami castle level starts. That part's pretty brisk. Yeah,
when you first entered Peach's castle, did you explore all the doorways?
I tried to, and it wouldn't let me go in them,
Was it one on the right? Is that a fourth wall break? Where they talk about how there's probably nothing behind it? Were they talking about like the developers not putting anything behind there?
I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't?
I just remember... no, I just remember being like, I can't open these doors. That's weird.
Yeah,
I was expecting to be able to.
Someone comments on it. I forget who,
probably
yeah, I think it was Bowser.
Maybe.
So we go up to the second level. That's when we go into like a cutscene, like an actual like pre-rendered cutscene. The staircase like shoots out. This looks super cool as the castle transforms into its origami form. And not only did I love this cutscene, I love everything they do with this castle. I loved how they made the like fortune teller type things, like this incredibly dangerous like hazard, like that lines the floors and they take out a ton of your health if you land in them. Yep. I thought that was
They're like
brilliant.
Little creepy plants.
Yeah,
great. I've been wondering, like, when are they going to use that? Because, like, when people think of origami, I feel like that's, like, the first thing people would go to. Because it's probably the most common thing anyone's ever made. I was like, when are they going to do the little fortune teller toy? But they saved it for some pretty good use.
They did. No, I thought that was great. Brilliant stuff. In fact, I think this whole castle is awesome. This is probably my favorite final section of a Paper Mario game that I can remember. I really enjoyed this whole castle. I like the like unique theming with the origami, the fact that it felt intimidating, that the length was good. It wasn't too long or too short. There were some interesting challenges along the way, and it made, you know, I thought novel use of the thousandfold arms too, with you having to like rearrange the ribbon paths, like everything. It just felt like everything kind of came together for this segment.
It was very well done.
Yeah.
And eventually we get to the staircase right before the throne room, which Bowser points out. He's like, well, I'm pretty used to these kind of last second staircases to throne rooms, and this looks like one, so you might want to save.
That was great.
Like,
I love that.
Thanks, Bowser. And then you have a bit of a heart-to-heart moment with Olivia. Right before you enter the throne room, Olivia kind of realizes that like this is probably it. This is where she's going to face her brother, and she kind of thanks Mario and Bowser for like helping her along the way, because she certainly didn't have the confidence to be able to take down her brother, nor did she think it was possible. And I think that's kind of like I'm not saying Olivia has like the biggest backstory here, but like the through line for her has always been a bit of her lacking self-confidence, and I think it kind of pays off here, especially with what she does at the end of the game. But yeah, that's kind of just like a last thank you moment for her. And then, of course, you go up and you meet Ollie and you find the terrifying Peach.
That's right, the Midsummer Peach.
Yes, Midsummer Peach. Can we refer to her as that, not Origami? If they put her in Mario Kart Tour, can that be her name?
That'd be amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where King Ollie starts to like kind of explain his issue, right? Like.
Yes, the reason why he hates Toads and why he's doing this, which I'm not going to lie, and maybe people are not going to agree with me on this, I did roll my eyes a bit when the reveal of why he's been doing this, which is the toad that made him scribbled on him. I guess like in his eyes he views that as like a defamation of the art of origami, and how he's out for revenge on every single toad ever.
Yeah, that
I was
part...
just like, all right.
I think they could have given him definitely a better like instigating factor, right? I agree.
It seemed a little drastic to do all of this, like to drop a boulder on your sister, daughter, or whatever she is. It just seemed a little much.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. Like I actually love everything else that they do here, but I do agree the reason for why the Origami King is doing things the way he is a little weak. It's like, okay, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but I mean it's not a huge deal. Again, there's not a whole lot of story here, but like it's whatever. It's just like, all right, and maybe it's a small blemish on what is a pretty cool, strong ending. And then of course the final part, the actual battle with him. Which were you happy to see all your friends reappearing in boss fights?
Oh my god, I was so scared at first. I'm like, please God, no, I don't want to fight you. I'm like, this could ruin the game for me. Luckily, they're not a big deal at all. In fact, I actually thought that portion was like really surprisingly easy. I'm like, was that it? But then you find out that isn't it. There's actually two more things going on. And what I like about this too is how it kind of like brings up all the mechanics of the game that we've played through so far in different ways. I actually kind of like that they didn't even focus too much on the puzzle solving aspect of the initial battle.
When he turns into the first one, I was like, oh no. But yeah, you're right. It's not that bad.
Yeah, no, same here. As I said, exact same. But then after you clear this out, then that's when, like, I forget exactly how the series of events unfold, but that's when is it Bowser that's straight up like, hey, how about you fold me, Olivia? Or
he like, I think it's like Ollie gets really mad and then he like just starts folding himself, and then Olivia's like, I'll fold you, Bowser, and then she turned.
Oh, that's Bowser. Bowser didn't even know he was gonna do it. I think, right? He was
Bowser did not consent to it at all. He just like suddenly was being folded. It's kind of pretty funny. Which, I mean, I feel like you could probably predict that at some point we were all going to see an Origami Bowser in this game.
I was surprised by this. I did not see this coming, honestly.
Oh, see, no, I was expecting the final boss to be Origami Bowser.
Really?
Like, all right, well, we'll do a paint Bowser, we'll do a sticker Bowser, let's do an Origami Bowser. But no, they did it in a way that surprised me, so that was really cool.
I wonder if because I didn't see it coming is why maybe I was so excited for it. And even the way, like, I like that you're not controlling Bowser directly, you're controlling him indirectly by using the thousandfold arms to slam the ground in order to, like, it's almost like, it actually reminded me of that Let's Tap, there we go, I think, Let's Tap.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, anyways, it's basically a big version of Let's Tap. I thought it was pretty clever. And surprisingly difficult, actually. This was way harder than the first phase, at least for me. We were dodging enemies while pounding the ground with, I think you have to use pretty good timing too, which is what I thought in the initial Elemental boss fights, which wasn't the case. What did you think of this portion?
I loved this. This was really fun. It was kind of like, I wanted to pay more attention to watching the two origami bosses kind of squabble with each other, but I was like, I have to focus on helping out.
It reminded me of, it actually reminded me of how the fights worked in Team America with the marionettes and how they just bounce into each other.
That's funny. Yeah, and it was just like they don't really have arms. They only have like the triangular fold of a piece of paper, and they're just rocking back and forth, bumping into each other, trying to push each other. And it's like, this is supposed to be a big, awesome climactic duel, and it just looks silly. But I was enjoying it for that.
Exactly. No, it was really funny, and it takes place within the arena. I think aligned with those fortune-telling things right on the walls, if I remember correctly. So it felt intimidating, but hilarious and weird. They
kind of point out that like the toads that were in the stands in the previous fight with the Ollie versions of the Elementals, they all fall down off of the stands. And I was like, did they all just die? Did they all get eaten by those like fortune-telling origami things? But we'll never know. Yeah,
that's right. They just get devoured, or is presumably devoured. So. Yeah, that actually surprised me too. That reminded me a little bit of a Thousand-Year Door, like the acknowledgement of the audience, right? So that was a fun touch. Because up to this point, besides when they help you, like they otherwise don't exist. Besides for giving you like feedback, it's like, oh no, they're actually here. they're getting wrecked. So I thought that was fun.
What point did they all get here?
Yeah, right. Yeah, when they show up, why aren't you helping out, guys? If we all jump on this tambourine thing together, we can really get Bowser's energy up.
Right, no kidding. After that, you Bowser pushes Ollie off of the thing, and Olivia's like, bye, brother, it was nice talking to you, whatever. And then he does his own 1,000-fold arms thing and kind of comes up and becomes basically a giant version of himself, but with the giant arms. And then you are tasked with actually Olivia is given like this thing way back when she is this is what we were forgetting earlier. When we were meeting the origami craftsman on the island, he gives Olivia like this special technique, and he's like, save this for when you need it the most or whatever. And so that is brought up here in the final fight, where you basically have to unscramble a picture on the arena of this new special technique, and then when you do that, that will end Ollie for good. And the only other real instance of this kind of puzzle is what you are treated with in the Shy Guys Finish Last area, which I know you and I were struggling with not too long ago when we were looking at some of those puzzles. But it's neat. You have to like unscramble the. I don't remember if you have a set number of moves. I don't think you do, but it is timed, and I know I failed it like 3 or 4 times.
I failed 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's really tight. I don't know how you would get that on the first try, because not only are you having to unscramble the image, but Ollie interrupts you like every 5 seconds, and you have to do a quick time event, which is fun. But again, once that's over, I have to like kind of reassert like, what am I working with here? And then by the time I'm ready to start moving things, there's another quick time event. But it does get easier each time you fail, which is weird.
It gives you more time, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so scared when I died the first time because
same.
I'm like, do I have to redo all of that? Because that would really just ruin the momentum. But I think this is the only time in the game where it offers you to basically continue and not restart from your previous save point. I don't think any other point in the game,
which is appreciated.
Yeah, sure. Much appreciated. So yeah, because I do wish, I think they could have done it a little bit better. I wish I had more time initially, because I always enjoy beating bosses on that first go. But I always feel like when you lose and you have to redo it, it takes some of the steam out of its sails. I had this specific complaint specifically with Uncharted 4 and even more recently The Last of Us 2. So I think it's a minor complaint here. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. But it could have been handled a little bit better. But I am glad you can continue. I am glad you get more time. And ultimately, once you finish off the quick time cutscene, he just reverts to his normal form, right? Just defeated.
Right, he's all crumbled up and he's beaten, and then that's that. After that, I guess his whole plan had been to make 1,000 origami cranes, and then once he had 1,000 of them, you could make a wish. And I'm assuming his wish was to just turn everything into origami, or kill all toads.
Yeah.
Would that be so bad? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, real quick, by the way, is it just me or does it seem like there's almost like a slight racial element to this whole thing?
That's what I was thinking. Like,
right?
His whole motive is about because of the one guy that scribbled on him, and I'm like, that suddenly means he hates all toads, which is like a bit of a racial like dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the whole origami thing too, like being basically superior.
Paper people, origami people.
Right,
yeah,
exactly, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, continue.
I was
though.
wondering.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, he had been planning on doing that, and then for some reason, you beating him suddenly makes him realize the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And so
that can handle better.
it's a villain. It's a villain trope,
exactly.
whatever. And then he kind of tells Olivia to fold his body into the last crane, and Olivia will then have to make the wish. But she doesn't know how to make an origami crane. But thankfully, our favorite character, Luigi, shows up with Kamek and Bowser Jr. and the origami craftsman, who teaches Olivia how to make the crane.
Hold on, sorry, you left out a key detail. He burst through the window on his go-kart.
You're right. I'm sorry, I should not have glossed over that. He soars through, bursts through. Thankfully, it wasn't the peach.
Yep.
It wasn't the peach window. That would have been really dark if it had been.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be woof. But yeah, so Olivia folds Ollie's body and creates the last crane, and then kind of has like a small moment where she just kind of like looks at Mario, which I'm assuming is kind of like her like it's time kind of moment, and then she wishes for everything that Ollie had folded into origami to be unfolded. And so then that resets everything. It gets rid of the origami castle and it turns it back to Peach's castle, and there's a beautiful cutscene where all these cranes start flying and they glow, and one of the prettiest moments in the game for sure. And then everything is back to as it was.
And when you say that everything's back to normal, that also means Olivia. Olivia's gone.
Olivia's gone, because if you remember, Olivia was folded by Ollie, and so her wish was for everything that had been folded by Ollie to be unfolded, and so she unfolded herself pretty much, which was another like, wow, that was very like, I'm sure she knew that when she was making that wish, and that was kind of another heavier, darker moment for the game.
Yeah, sure. another Bobby moment.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we talked about this earlier, and I believe you actually saw this coming. I didn't, if I remember correctly. And like I don't think I fully realized it until the characters themselves comment on it. I forget what they say. They say something along the lines of like, "Where's Olivia?" or something. Or
yeah, they just basically, wait, where's the? Everyone's back to normal. Like when Peach flies in, she's not Origami Peach anymore, and so everyone's just kind of like, "Yay, we're all back to normal." And then someone's like, "Where's Olivia?" And then it kind of cuts to black, and you're like, "Oh no."
So I'm gonna be honest. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I sort of saw this coming. I had in my head, I've been thinking. Like, ever since like Super Paper Mario, Sticker Star, Color Splash, they have all done this exact thing.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
The fairy character that follows Mario has like, yeah, it's just gone at the end of the game, and it's a little different each time, but like this one does the same thing. I think I didn't see how they were gonna do it for sure, so I did have that moment where I was like, oh, she unfolded herself. Oh, yeah, I did have that moment, but I did kind of expect that to happen in some way. But yeah, what a dark moment.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, a few things there. So, I think almost knowing or remembering now that it happened before, I'm actually glad I didn't. But I think that was taken away from the moment for me.
For sure.
Although I think, doesn't Huey come back in the 100% ending of Color Splash?
So that's the one thing. Huey, well, it's weird because it's like, in Mario's eyes, Huey died, right? But like in the alternative ending, you see Huey fall from the sky and land back in the paint fountain, but he's not like, he doesn't act like an animate object. He just seems like he's a paint can. So maybe he died. I don't know.
Oh, is he just a paint can? Oh, okay, then that actually makes sense. I think that's consistent then. So he's gone. He's just a paint can. Okay, he's just a all right. I didn't get 100% into myself. I think it was based on what I'd heard. Maybe when we were talking earlier. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, that's a
3D version.
Yeah. So okay, I'm actually but I'd completely forgotten about that. So I'm glad I did, because this. I'll be honest, maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age and like quarantine times. This hit me hard for some reason. I'm like, man, I really liked Olivia. Like, I thought she was great. She was like really cute, like, you know, really sweet, like just a really like innocent character. I mean, I loved Huey too, but Huey was, I think, had a little bit more confidence. You know, he wasn't quite a little bit more of a showboat.
He didn't have a story to him.
Yeah, he didn't have a
right?
story,
He
exactly.
Was
Like,
he was a
funny,
nice character that you liked, but like there wasn't a story to him. He was just like a very like sarcastic, funny character that you'd enjoy. Whereas like Olivia definitely had some personal growth.
Right. So like, yeah, Olivia's like basically still a kid, right? So it sucks that.
Yeah.
Like that, you have the journey with her, and now, hey, she sacrificed herself, Bobby style, and she's gone. So yeah, I actually got misty-eyed during this, which I'm surprised by. Like, had I been a kid, I don't think it would faze me at all, but now I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I felt the same way with Bobby. I was like, I think that they're going with the angle with Bobby that he's like a little brother to Mario, at least how he was written. Not like Luigi, whereas Luigi's kind of a comedic relief. I feel like Bobby was falling into like the stereotype of like being a naive little brother that's learning all these things because he has amnesia. And similarly with Olivia, she was trying to overcome this huge obstacle and just didn't think she'd ever be able to. And she was so grateful for all the help and support that she got from Mario and all the different characters, all the toads that they met along the way.
Yep.
It was nice. So many toads.
Yeah, I really like. I mean, there's nothing like particularly standoutish about the rest of this ending, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it worked. I like seeing the celebration in town.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cute, especially like with a night setting. You can see it in a whole different light, literally. And I like the credits sequence too, with Mario and Luigi taking the go-kart around the world as you see photographs. I think photos or memory.
I think they were photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it from things that had happened or things that were happening? I forget exactly what they were of, but
it's something about just the environment. I don't remember the specifics, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was all really cute. Although the entire time I was really hoping, like, oh man, are we gonna see is like Olivia gonna come back? Did she manage to survive? Like, come on, Olivia. But nope.
I wonder if that's what the 100%.
That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe, yeah, I'm close. Again, I only have like I think 1 or 2 more trophies I have to get, so I'll find out soon.
We're gonna have to come back with a final spoiler discussion to talk about
spoiler discussion.
My guess is I had this thought during just a few moments ago. My guess is based on Huey, she's not coming back in her original form. What I think we might see, possibly, I think it would be a really cute touch, and I actually wish it had happened already, but I don't know, is we see like one final dove. Or were the doves that they were folding?
Or crane.
Crane, yeah.
They were like cranes.
Yeah, we see like one final crane, like just by itself, as it like, like softly lands somewhere. I don't know, looking off into the sunset. I don't know.
I'm wondering if in that like last cutscene where Mario and Peach walk up to the Origami Craftsman little display in the center of Toad Town, he has like all the little origami castle and the thrones.
Oh, like
they're empty. I'm wondering if they're gonna have the 2 cranes on that. I wonder if that's what that's gonna be.
That'd be pretty cute. Yeah, if they land. Oh, that'd be awesome. Actually, like they land together, on their thrones.
Their thrones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They rejoined at last in their original origami form. That'd be cute.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cute. So I don't know.
And when you beat the game and you start it up again, if you go back to Toad Town, in the center of that exact spot where it would be in the cutscene, there is a trophy, and it is the 2 cranes. So again, that just makes me think. I wonder if that's what it's going to be. We'll find out. But
I didn't want to get 100% before, but now we talk about this, I kind of want to. But I'll probably just wait for someone else to do it.
It makes you refight all the Vellumians.
Oh my god, I don't want to do that. Nope, that's for sure. Well, Xander, is there anything else about the spoilers? Anything else you want to spoil for people or talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
I don't think so. I think that's about it. I'm glad you can pet the Chain Chomp.
Yes, petting the Chain Chomp's awesome. That was great. That's another cute Olivia moment as well.
Yes.
I am shocked. I thought this would be a brief discussion. We might have gone longer than the actual original discussion.
You're right.
In a game with like literally no story.
I think we were capable of taking a 2-minute thing and turning it into something that's
people expect it of us now. I don't know why I keep surprising myself with it, but anyways, Xander, thank you for sitting down, chatting with us about the Origami King and the ending. It was a really fun discussion. Where can people follow you at to find out more about what you do?
Sure, I am on Twitter at MorningShark, and then I also write and create videos for NintendoWorldReport.com, and we also have a YouTube channel, Nintendo World Report TV, or just NWR TV, where we make all sorts of different coverage. So you can find me out on there.
And you can find links to all that in the description below. And of course, stay tuned to Game Explain for more on Paper Mario the Origami King and everything else Nintendo Switch as well. We'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.